Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, everybody. Good to be with you guys again.
It's been a while.
I know.
How long has it been?
When was the last time we recorded?
Maybe a month or so?
Yeah, it's been a while.
No,
Yeah.
2 months?
Yeah, it was before I went.
Was that before you went to
before I left.
China?
Yeah, that was like
Oh yeah, that's right.
April 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been like over a month.
I know. I missed you guys.
Miss you too.
You guys been keeping busy? Have you guys been practicing the mental game and baby talking yourself? And
Baby talking a lot.
Yeah.
Baby talking a lot.
Tried to.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, like how you have this life changing experience, but then like you fall back into the normalcy of life pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you really have to be cognizant of. I need
Yes.
to baby talk myself. I need to.
Cognizant. Yes.
Yeah, right. You have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
It takes effort.
That's why, I mean, for me, part of the appeal of coming to meet with you guys is to be able to talk about this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then this is part of the
Healing.
Healing.
the
the mental.
reaffirming,
Yeah.
the healing, the reminding,
Right.
like kind of like the meditation. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
just because I get together with my other friends and I don't have this kind of therapeutic discussion as I do with you guys.
Me neither.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you do, they don't have the same understanding
no.
as
No.
we would have.
No, they have a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
kind of understanding.
Yeah.
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 It's more of like a
So they have sympathy.
sympathy. Yeah. Sympathetic.
Yeah.
They have sympathy,
Yeah.
but they don't have the same experience.
Yeah.
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 But
I
no,
agree.
like I think about our first few recordings and what we talked about and we just mentioned it's hard to keep yourself. We said last time like to be on track
Yeah.
or to be totally conscious of something 24 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
And that made me kind of look into and think about the concept or the principle of auto-suggestion, which is what there's a lot of things online or books about auto-suggestion, and it's basically just like your affirmations, whether it's recording your voice or writing something down or watching something on TV visually. It's repeating it every single day where it becomes permanent, like a permanent,
You're
just like
coding it
right,
into your brain.
because that's from what I've read recently since the last time we talked. This is how you actually program the brain. This is the only way that you can actually program the brain
Right.
to where you have control, because you can't just say, okay, I'm gonna be this way tomorrow and then you're
gonna
just
happen.
like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a lot of
Repetition.
like the 100,000 rule or whatever hour rule.
10,000
Like,
hours, yeah.
yeah, like everything. It's almost like it's a principle or a law of life. Like this is the way life works. It's made.
It's like learning a new skill.
Right.
Like, unless you don't practice, you're not gonna be good at it.
Yes.
It's not gonna become your everyday.
Exactly.
Life,
we
whatever
see,
it may be.
we know the logic, but yet we
We don't.
fail to practice it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that's.
Well,
that's,
it has to become a lifestyle.
It does.
Mhm.
And
It
that's
does.
what we were talking about is
Yeah.
how your lifestyle is different now versus before. And we've talked about that in past episodes, like how we were before, how, we have a different lens on things,
Mhm.
now. But the lifestyle aspect, I think, is something that, and I was just having this conversation with someone who was asking me how I was doing. And I said, I'm doing really well and I feel really good. But it takes practice for that. And it takes learnings and it takes relearning things, like patience and, slowing yourself down and, auto-suggestion
Yeah.
or affirmations, all these things that we talk about. And I every time we get together, I think about it and I'm like, God, I know all the tools. I know what to do. I totally believe it.
Yeah.
But then, life just gets very hectic, and
Yeah.
and you get swept up in it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, other than meditation, other than sort of the mental aspect, do you think physically there's a part to that in terms of reprogramming, or like, is it working out every day? Is it,
I have
I
definitely
don't
tried
know,
to
what is
like
it?
work out more. Whether
I can
it,
tell you look super buff, dude.
yeah, I think that's just fat.
The muscles are there.
Yeah, it's under all the fat somewhere. It's there somewhere. But I think just, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean like, getting like a six pack. It just, I
Right.
just feel like it's what I need to do.
Me too. I
Yeah.
feel that way too.
Yeah.
I feel like
Like-
physically I have to do something every day as part of my regimen of healthcare.
Mhm.
Mind, body,
Mo-
and spirit.
and almost more from my mind.
Yeah.
Well,
You
I can
know,
talk
like-
about that. I need to turn off my. I have an alarm on my phone
Uh-huh.
for
Yeah.
meditate every day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn it.
Right.
But you gotta gotta be on top of both of it
Mm-hmm.
to give yourself optimum opportunity to always have one carry the other.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it comes down to, what you guys said, how do you maintain it? And I think that's something that everybody deals with. And again, we have all the literature and and the YouTube videos and all the talks, but it really comes down to I think it comes down to your desire and your will.
Uh-huh.
And your, and it's all connected, like all these desire, will, persistence, enthusiasm,
Right.
like, or love, like, you fall in love with a girl or a guy, and you think of all these ways to try to woo them or impress them because you have this desire, and you put forth this focused effort.
That's true.
Right,
Mhm.
just like us when we were sick.
Yeah.
We had to we've put everything else aside, and we put a magnifying glass on it. Like, we focus our energy on this is what we really desire. So therefore we have the enthusiasm and the persistence and the drive to,
Right.
right? And that's the same thing now that we're healed. We don't have any that kind of fire
That
burn,
motivation, yeah.
right? So you got to build this. You got to
Yeah.
ask yourself, what is your burning desire?
Mm-hmm.
You have to always, it's almost like you have to always have a burning desire. We as humans tend to have a burning desire only when there's something bad that's happened, and we're burning desire to have that bad thing go away.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
everything's good, why don't you have that same burning desire
Yeah.
within you too?
Yeah.
And you may do, like, you seem to have a burning desire, and maybe you have other, but when it comes to the self, and to build yourself up and build your own self-confidence and build your own desire and enthusiasm, then you got to really talk to yourself, like,
Mhm.
what is your real,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's all interconnected
it is,
with, like, what we're saying, baby talk. You treat all these other people, really well. Why don't you do that to yourself?
yeah,
Mhm.
You read all this literature. You can tell someone if they're saying, well, I'm just really stressed out. Stress is really bad, Brandon. You really need to work on that.
yeah, really, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But then when it comes to yourself, like, for me, the only thing I'm really consistent in is some kind of physical activity every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm really consistent in.
That's good.
But for now, I'm
think
going
it's
to take
because
that as, like, okay, well, at least I'm consistent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because what we're used to, it's what we're, I guess, like, good at.
Yeah.
is the physical part, and it's immediate.
Yeah.
We have that.
Yeah,
that
you get
immediate-
endorphins from
yeah,
it,
yeah.
whatever.
It's instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
Right,
that's
right.
that's the word I was trying to find.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think
you-
that's why I do it, because I'm working out, I feel good,
Right.
and it's like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do today to, like,
Yeah.
make myself feel better, heal my body in whatever
Right.
way, and
Eat
Yeah.
a cupcake.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty eating like a whole pizza afterwards.
I eat a
So-
cupcake. I'm like, cool, now I can have my dessert.
Yeah, but then when it
Yeah.
comes to, the whole affirmations,
It's the mental part.
the mental
The mental
part,
part
it's
is
that
the
mental
hardest.
exercise is
I
a
think
lot
that's
harder than
the-
the physical
I
exercise.
think that's what we're finding of, not just like in general, but thematically that's been sort of
Yeah.
an interesting thing that's come up in
It's
every
always come
time we
back.
talk about, like, it always comes back to that. And
Yep.
and I think a lot of people struggle with it because it's like it is very hard to get consistent at doing that. Creating that habit,
Yeah.
auto-suggesting it, whatever it is,
Yeah.
whatever name you want to put on it. It's the mental aspect of trying to make that change permanent.
Yeah.
It's like that whole thing when I was talking about how after my transplant and when I first started driving again, I was so super calm and
Right.
drove slow. Now it's like, watch out, man.
Especially
you get in my
living
way.
downtown.
Oh yeah. Even walking, I yell at people now. This guy was turning, we were crossing to the crosswalk, and I was like, "You gotta watch out, man!" And it's like, what am I doing? Psycho.
I'm guilty of that too. But I think these are all very valuable experiences and things that we go through to remind yourself.
Right.
Because you could, if you were just being this way and you weren't talking about it, like that was the
Yeah.
way it's supposed to be, then maybe I would worry about you, right? But you're fully aware of it. You're conscious of it, and I think you have a desire to not be like that. And so I think
That's true.
the key
So
part
maybe it's like
is
recognize the first step is
you got to build your desire muscle.
Yeah.
You got to
Right.
run every day for
Like
half a
that.
mile.
Build your
desire.
desire muscle.
Yeah. You'll work on your
That's
desire
right.
for 30 minutes every day, just like you work on your glutes for 30 minutes. Right? Something like that. Something like that.
I wish I worked on my
Be-
glutes for
because
30 minutes a day. But yeah, I
No,
get
but
it.
it is.
You're right. It's a muscle.
The muscle of the brain and the muscle of the body works in the same way. And it works in the same way as everything that's been programmed and set in this universe. Like, you get cut. It takes 30 days for it to, like, completely heal.
Right.
Whatever. Like, you have something happen to you. It takes time for it to...
Mm-hmm.
You get sick. You don't just get well right away.
Right.
Like, all of a sudden. It takes there's a term, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I set an alarm every day to meditate. So,
Yeah.
the
And
alarm.
do you do it?
For the most part, yeah. Even if it's just for like a minute or two, I still stop what I'm doing. I'll sit and just not think about
Breathe.
anything. Yeah, just relax. Usually I'm home when it goes off, so like I'll go outside right there, just look
That's
out.
a good idea.
Just look out, not think of anything.
Yeah.
I want to get to the point where internally my clock goes off and I can
Right.
just stop what I'm doing and then just, just not think of anything.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Right.
Just let everything go. So I'm getting to that point. Working on it.
You become
Yes.
a Buddha.
I'll be like Alex.
Mini
I'll be
Buddha.
like Alex.
Yeah.
I strive to be like
How long do you meditate for every day? Or do you meditate every day?
I haven't been meditating lately, but it comes and goes. Sometimes I feel a heavy desire to meditate every day, and sometimes it fades away. But it doesn't mean I'm pulling away from the virtues of meditating. I feel like I'm just meditating in a different way because
Right.
I'm filling my mind with stuff that I meditate about, but just not with my eyes closed. I'm like reading something, or I'm listening to something, or reminding myself of. But
Yeah, and like I don't necessarily like close my eyes and like deep thought. I just sit and just blank out.
Yeah.
People think that meditating you have to be like in silence. You have to be eyes closed, like in a serene like place. But I just I think just take time for myself, pretty much. Yeah.
I think meditating is a different experience for everybody.
Right.
Like I think everybody, you can't say like, okay, 5 minutes in a dark room and do this, and everybody follows that, and that's the way you're gonna get optimize your what you get out of meditating.
Right.
But for me, like sometimes I'll read a good chapter, I'll read a good philosophy, or something will happen to me that day, and it'll make me really question myself, or question the other person, or question life. And then I'll go into, I'll be like, damn, I need to really ponder upon this. And then I can meditate and try to squeeze out the virtue of every lesson. You know how like I wrote, you guys came to my house last time, and I wrote on my board, like, to try to see the good in everything, or every bad thing or whatever. I really try to practice that every day, like consciously.
Right.
Every day when something bad happens, and something bad happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just resort right back to there's a way. There's definitely, we as humans, we have the ability to always shift our thought and our perspective into a positive nature. You choose whether you want to let it go sour, or you want
to
be
negative or positive,
or you want to fix it and be okay. Like everybody else in the world might be fucking tripping. Like,
okay, so what if something bad happens to you? Aside from cancer, right? But now we're in our post-cancer lives. So we've already gone through shit. We've already gone through, like, a lot. You know, most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
And then something bad happens to you after that.
Okay.
How do you shift
the mindset?
The mindset. Because, like, something bad has happened to me, and I am very angry. Very angry. But I don't want to be.
Yeah, no.
And I know I will get past that.
Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time seeing the good in the person that crossed me.
Yeah.
You know?
I yeah. No, that's very good.
Or do you just decide, you know what? You can't control everything. You can't really control anything. It is what it is. Move on with your life.
Do you have any idols or people that you super like admire your whole life? Like, do you have any like?
I mean, like in my life, yeah. I mean, I idolize my dad.
Okay, so for me, like I have a bunch of idols that I have, and I always ask myself, like, what would they do? I have like a team of idols, like, my Bob Marley or Bruce Lee or Martin Luther King or Gandhi, like all these Dalai Lama, like all these heroes.
Right.
And I always like Kelly Slater, like surfer, like or Tiger Woods. I always tell myself, like, what would they do? I'm not talking about Tiger Woods because he's shown some bad.
Hey man, Tiger Woods, my dude.
No, but you know what I mean. Like you find somebody.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you ask yourself, like, how would they handle this situation? Like Martin Luther King, I'm sure, and Dalai Lama, like I think about them all the time. Like I'm sure they would be like, it would bother them too, but they'll be like, it's okay. I feel for you, and I hope you can fix yourself. And you've taught me a very valuable lesson about humanity and how bad it could get in somebody else's mind, and it empowers me. So I don't have any hatred toward this person or this situation. I have nothing but love and virtue, and that's how I deal with. I've been really doing this with like everything I encounter since my transplant that has really thrown me off. Like, and it always comes down to going back into my room and sitting at night and really asking myself, like, what do I really want to be? Who do I really want to be? What do I really want to take from this experience? Am I going to just let it make me negative again, or am I going to be just conscious that I survived cancer and I want to continue to be positive and stay on this positive tip and just push on, like, because this is the new me. This is the new me. I never thought like this before, because when people used to piss me off, I would react. I would respond. I would
Yeah.
respond in a negative way, and I would let it
Yeah.
eat me up for months or years or
Right.
forever. And I'll always bring up this stupid story of this stupid person, this stupid incident, and
Right.
blah blah. And I can think of a lot right now. I could draw up a lot of negative things that happened to me in my life, and that I'm gonna
Yeah, I
share.
can see the vein popping
Right.
out of your head.
No, but see, it's this is the new me. I don't anymore.
Right.
Like I think about, you can't control the
Yeah.
the impulse of these thoughts, but you can definitely, there's a filter in your mind. Like you can't stop the bombardment of good thoughts and bad thoughts, but you can filter it. Like, okay, these are bad thoughts, I'm just gonna knock them out, and let me go back to these good thoughts. Let me think about my mom, my dad, my family, my health, my husband, my dog,
Yeah.
and you know, my podcast talks, and my buddy Brandon and Alex, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I think that's how my lifestyle has changed the most. Like, if you ask anyone, I have kind of like like, I don't give a fuck attitude.
Right.
And it's not really that I don't really
Ooh, step
care. It's not really that I don't care. It's just that there could be a lot worse things happening, you know?
Totally.
So, like,
Perspective.
yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, people, it's hard for someone to piss me off. It's hard for someone to annoy me. There's only maybe like 2 people that in this whole world that I can think of that kind of get under my skin. No. Not yet, at least.
Give us time. Give us time.
But like, I rarely get mad.
Really?
Rarely. Yeah. Like my
Dr.
demeanor
Dre,
is just
man.
like,
meditate like a Buddha.
it's not even meditation. It's just,
No.
I don't know if it's just like
So-
over time it's just become a part of me where it's like things, I mean, I get in trouble for this too because I say like don't care, but it's not really that. It's like this could wait, or this.
You're able to let go of things.
Yeah, totally.
You're able to not let things get to you.
Yeah.
Right? So you've developed this skill. It's a skill because
Yeah. I've definitely developed it because I was not.
Right. It's like a stillness
Mhm.
within yourself that
Yeah.
you're able to, that, you know, it's a virtue that you have that other people haven't mastered. Not everybody has mastered.
Hmm.
And it's something that you master. Because I think about the Dalai Lama all the time, and, you know, he's always smiling, laughing, and everything that comes out of his mouth is virtue,
Hmm.
principles and philosophies, and smiling and forgiveness, and he's just completely in that zone. And
Mhm.
it seems like in that aspect of your mentality, you're in that zone.
Yeah.
So you already have the habit of, you don't need to auto suggest that to your mind anymore because it's
Yeah.
already established.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Right.
already coded in you.
Yeah.
It's like you've been working out for 20 years and you're not
Mhm.
going to just all of a sudden stop working out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's what everyone tells me. Like, dude, like when I do get annoyed or get mad, they're like, "What? Like, you're upset at that person? Like, we've never seen you mad, or we've never seen
yeah,
you."
it's like a blue
Like-
moon.
Yeah, it is, and you know, I don't realize it. I just, you know, live my life, however, you know. But then like more and more people have been telling me that, like, yeah, like you just have like this, like, calm energy about
Yeah.
you. Like
You do
they
have a
can't.
calm energy.
They
for
can't
sure.
they can't picture. Recently I've kind of gotten mad about a few things, but it's like it's not me. I feel mad. I get mad when I get mad because I shouldn't be getting mad.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I get mad when other people are getting mad about things that shouldn't matter.
Right.
Those are the things
yeah.
that get me mad.
Yeah. No,
That I
get it.
agree.
It's like,
There
why
are-
does that bother? Like, that's so
Yeah.
like minuscule. Like, why does that ruin your day?
But that's our different. That's the lens we have.
Right.
And that for sure, I think I experience where I'm like, you gotta get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it. It's not worth your
Mm-hmm.
energy to spend in a negative place on something that really doesn't matter,
Mhm.
you know, or that you have no control over.
Mhm.
the difference that I'm experiencing now is just like, oh my gosh, I know you're so sad when you got your
I'm gonna
ball.
put you away. You are just interrupting us, Kai.
It's more like I have that perspective. I can move on from things much more quickly than I ever used to be able to, for sure. Because now I have that different lens where I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna move on. But it's the lifestyle that I think it's what you guys practice and emulate and participate in is sort of where I feel like I don't know if I'm there yet.
No.
I mean, you're only a year and a half.
But I don't even know if it has to maybe it has to do with time, but it's just sort of like I don't know. It's all still so new, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's yeah. I think it has to do with your influence. Like you have your controlled influence, which is your own consciousness of what you allow and don't allow to think about every day, and then you have your outside influences like people around you and your environment and things that happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what you know what it comes down to. It comes down to.
She knows you want her to leave. Apologies for the interruption. We're having a doggy wanting to sit with us.
She just wants to play.
Yeah.
But no, it comes down to, again, just what you keep on reminding yourself of. Like you say you're not quite there yet. I don't think there's ever a there. It's always a journey. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think I'm ever. Nobody, they talk about the term enlightenment. Like, there's monks that spend their entire life going to monk school or going to a temple and they never become enlightened. Right. But they're always working. But you just become the best of what you want to be. Like, you got to ask yourself, this is all connected, how you are and how you want to be and your desire. Yeah. Like, how do you see yourself and how do you want, like, I asked Brandon earlier, like, about high school, like, when they graduated, did they ask you, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? And yeah, like, you've heard of people say that, but do you really close your eyes and think about where you're going to be 5 years or 10 years? And do you see the person who you want to be? And then, people always say you got to have a target so that you have direction and something to aim for. So if, we talk about it so easily, but it's very simple practices, but we don't do it all the time. It's to establish a target, to establish a vision, visualize, auto-suggest, remind yourself, affirmations, and then you become what you think about, right? People say that all the time, you become, but how do you do that? But
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever sat down and thought about
yeah, me neither.
What do I want to be like, or how do I want to be?
Yeah, so you have no target.
No.
So Confucius says, one who aims at nothing should hit it, right?
Hey,
right. That's a good quote.
I like that.
Right? If you don't have,
I'm aiming at nothing, so I'm hitting everything.
Yeah,
man.
you'll get what you ask for. If you don't ask for anything, you're definitely going to get it, right? But if you focus your mind on a target and what you want to be and how you want to be, and you're reminded of this every day, whether it's a sticker or drawing of yourself, like, then it helps you throughout the day, because you'll have things that throw you off every day of who you want to be. And then if you have that vision and that of what you want to be and who you are, and you can automatically go back to, okay, I'm not going to let this make me not me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, this is how I deal. These are all like my new realizations in life and how I deal with life every day. Like, and
That's
I've
the
had,
point, is
and I've
sharing
had,
that, right?
yeah,
That's really helpful.
it feels really good to be able to talk about this, because you think about all your own wacky ideas every day, and you hope that it's leading you to somewhere good, but to be able to share these thoughts with other people and people feel your vibe, it
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
not sitting here saying like, you do what?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm writing down what you're saying. That's a good sign.
No, it's life, And Krissy, I see me, you, and Brandon, and I have this dynamic. I see this dynamic difference, and I see this with my friends too when they come over and see me, and they have to go to work, and they have to worry about their kids, and they have to worry about their wives, and they have to worry about going to bed in time, and they have to worry about waking up the next day, and they have to worry about all kinds of stuff that well, me and Krissy have less than you. Like, we actually can spend our time. We have this capital, this asset, this opportunity to actually overindulge our minds in establishing what we're just
New
talking
thoughts.
about, to establish these
Right.
new habits, to establish these new perspectives.
Yeah.
Like, you're not having to go to work and
No.
have 3 kids waiting for you to
No.
buy iPhones
Yeah.
for them. Like, you have just you and Mark, and I just have me and my mom. Like, I don't have to worry about paying my mortgage next month. I don't have to worry about, like, if in the meantime, like, clocking in at 8 o'clock, I could wake up at 9 and I could spend 5 hours reading this book that feeds my mind.
Right.
And then
Right.
guess what? The next day, I'm going to be that much more empowered than if I didn't spend that 5 hours reading that.
Right.
Then something's going to happen to me in the next day. And then if I didn't read what I read yesterday, I'm going to react like I used to. And then
Right.
get all pissed off and hold these negative energies. Or I can go back to my freaking Dalai Lama and Buddha and God stuff that I read about every day. And then when something happens to me the next day, I'm totally zen about it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Now
Like,
you-
I'm Brandon, right? Like, it don't bother me no more.
Buddha
Just
Brandon.
just brush it right off
Yeah.
my shoulder, right?
Yeah. No, we do have a luxury there
We do.
of time.
We have a great luxury. And
Yes.
I see every time I talk to my friends and they have to just stop by for half an hour or briefly because they got to go back to this or go back to that.
Right.
And all they talk about is how
So tired.
messed up their day
Yeah.
was and how busy it is and how,
Right.
how their wives are nagging them and their kids are growing up and it's like, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, you're just like,
Yeah.
You're like, I woke up at 11 today,
Yeah.
and watched TV, or
No, yeah. Exactly. If I
Did
wanted
some
to
reading.
do that, I have the luxury of doing that. But no, like, it's an opportunity cost, right? Like economics. Like, you can utilize your time to just kick back and watch Netflix all day, or you can actually use this free, empty time to add value to yourself. Because everybody asks me, like, Alex, what are you doing? Like, 4.5 years, 5 years, aren't you ever gonna get a job? Like, you're just wasting your life away. You're not doing anything. I'm worried about you. Like, a lot of people come down on me. Like,
Yeah.
and my closest friends, my
Yeah.
closest family. Like,
I get a lot of,
right.
what do you do all
I can
day?
see that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see that.
but
Yeah.
here comes the principle of faith and just faith. To have faith in yourself, to know that you're working, because only you know at the end of the night when you go to bed, like, what you did that day.
Mhm.
I'm the only one that answers my, did I spend all day watching Netflix and smoke weed and eat cake and shit,
Yeah.
or did I really go back to that hardcore drive to find my purpose in life and desire, my definite purpose,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm doing. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I know you're just not sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
I know for sure you're in deep thought about, the past, future. Yeah, just what is to come for you. I know you're thinking about it. You're in deep thought about.
You gotta really, you have nobody to answer to but yourself, right? And it's so hard because we live in a world where you're so
Caught up
influenced
with-
and
yeah.
caught up with what other people say and what other people think and
judge.
and that's a self-affliction for me, because I always worried about what other people think. I always let that affect me. I always worried about what other people thought and what other people thought of me, and you know, this is another skill, like, and this is another philosophy or a law of life, is to, you know, those who flourish in life are those who can really just not let what other people say or think throw you off your track.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tiger Woods, when he was going through all this divorce and DUIs, and if he listened to what everybody said, like, you're never gonna make it again, and you're just a loser, and you're a, you know, home wrecker or whatever, like, he would never become what he just became.
Yeah, and
a few
that's
months
why
ago.
his Masters win is that much greater, because of everything that he went through and overcame.
Because the more haters
Yeah.
there are, the more crap people say, the more it's gonna be so rewarding to you when you overcome all this.
I knew he was gonna win another major.
Right.
I
Yeah.
knew it.
I did too.
Yeah, and all the work that you put in for
Yeah.
hours and hours every day when nobody's around and you're by yourself and you're working your affirmations, you're working your reminders, you're working your meditation, and you're working on your attitude and your desire and your drive and your definite purpose in life, and you're magnified in, and you just like we were fighting for our lives when we had our transplant, right? It's that kind of intensity and desire, and that gives you power, that gives you in you know, energy and
Yeah.
and everything, like everything, that positive energy gives you encouragement, and you know, it's
Definitely.
Yeah.
that desire
Yeah.
that'll, and that's gonna get you out of the funk. That's what, you know, I sometimes I sit at home and I think about this, and I'm sitting straight up, like, by myself in my garage, like, yeah. Like, this is, yeah, I'm pumped up. You know what I mean?
I love it.
But yeah, that's how you get yourself pumped up. Like, sometimes I just feel like, I smoked a joint this morning. I just had a big lunch. I just want to go to sleep. I'm tired, dude. You know, I start reading and I start reminding myself, or I'll start meditating or doing something to get my mind back into that zone.
Right.
And then that zone gives me energy.
Right.
And then I can't sleep till like 11 or 12. You know, like, it's that's how strange, that's how weird life works. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're mad at 1 minute, and then you read something, and you read a story about somebody who went through something really bad, and all of a sudden you're not sad anymore, because life, just like you said, life could be so much worse. Like,
Right.
what are you tripping about? Like, you know, we got food, we got water, we got hot water, the cold water, we got bathroom, we got, like, everything. Like,
Yeah.
there's people in this world that
Don't.
nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's,
I agree.
yeah.
I feel like I always. It's like a good reminder.
To come with
To-
to come to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, it always is.
For sure. Because, like, you practice it and preach it. And I think for you, it's a good reminder for yourself. For me, it's a great reminder to hear it and to have the perspective of, like, yeah, you're right. I just need to, you know, be okay with what I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
And then I also have been, it's like, oh, yeah, so maybe my meditation is reading at night before I go to bed, because it's really relaxing. I do it just for myself. It's something I really enjoy. You know, it's like, maybe it doesn't have to be so formulaic.
Right.
It just
Yeah.
has to be from that
It's nature. Just be natural.
right,
Be natural.
from that sense of yourself, and
Yeah.
you know,
And I think, by the way, what you read and watch before you go to bed has a tremendous influence on your subconscious.
Oh, yeah.
Your mind. Like, you're, you know, whether if you watch, because I've spent years, you know, going on Facebook or Instagram for 2 or 3 hours before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I wake up the next day and I'm just like stupid.
Yeah.
Sometimes that helps me though, because when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see all like these like workout videos, I'm like,
Right, but
damn.
see, no, that's good.
I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I'm going on a diet.
Yeah,
So
no.
it does help sometimes.
It's your motivation.
I think
Yeah.
it's what you. Yeah, Instagram could be
But
very.
it's what you look at.
Yeah,
what
that's-
you
yeah,
look
it's
at.
what you
look
you
at, yeah.
What you allow.
Yeah, it's the content.
Again, it's your brain. Like, what do you allow? What do you expose? What are you exposing it to?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're exposing it to like, what I used to do, like girls in bikinis all day, then you're not gonna get anywhere.
Hey,
But
you know
if
that sometimes that helps you out
if
too, man.
if you like looking at guys with abs, and that gives you motivation, and but yeah, it's whatever gives you, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's what
We're not looking
you-
at anything negative
you
for the most
can.
part. We're not.
I won't lie. I look at World Star and those crazy.
But that gives you
accounts
joy
every-
too, though.
every
At
once
the
in a
same
while. But,
time.
it's like everything in life. Like you could spend 5 minutes just like entertaining your mind and tickling your fancy, and then you could spend like 7 hours on some hardcore mind education stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
Right, but it's just when you flip that around and you spend 7 hours on
Right,
World
right,
Star
right,
and you only
right.
spend 5
Right.
minutes on your
Right.
mind stuff,
Then you
Right.
gotta
you're
change something.
you're not
Your
gonna
priorities are
Yeah.
right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's
I get
no
it.
right or wrong. It's you when you go to bed at night,
Right.
you tell yourself what you did today and you answer to yourself. Like
Yeah.
as long as I can answer to myself every
Yeah.
night, like Alex,
You're right.
today so and so and so and so and so and so said you are a lazy bum and you haven't worked and you should get a job and blah blah. But let me ask myself what I did today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
You-
I can
you
answer
know.
to myself and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm progressing forward in
Right.
life and in a mission and a burning desire, then I don't really care what you guys do. Even
Yeah.
if it's my mom. I love my mom to death,
Yeah.
but
Well, there's no formula.
Yeah.
There's no formula.
it's just to be sure of yourself.
Right.
Right? To really, again, our first few recordings, it's always going back to knowing thyself, knowing
Mhm.
the self, and it really does come down to it. Like
Yeah.
it really is that inner voice and that conversation, and you are your own best friend or you are your own worst
Yeah.
enemy.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you really, it's not Mark, it's not your mom, it's not your
Yeah.
girlfriend, it's you. Like
Yeah.
you want to be Krissy, who has road rage that gets worse and worse as you gravitate away from your transplant date, or do you want to be Dolly Krissy in driving for the rest of your life? You want to be
Yeah.
always be like if
Or a
if-
combination of the two.
right, whatever it is that you want,
Yeah.
you
Right.
establish that, and then once you have it locked in, it's like you're setting your thermometer at your house. You could deviate off of it, it'll drop to 68 or whatever, but if you're at 70, you're always going to get back to 70. It could get real hot, and you'll always, because you have it set, you're always set on 70, and you're always set on Krissy, and you're always set on this is who you want to be, and that you're always striving for it, right?
Mhm.
You have fantastic metaphors.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should write a book of metaphors.
I was gonna bring up who brought up the metaphor about when you get a speeding ticket, like you're really conscious,
Likely Alex.
like right. So I feel like these podcasts are my ticket. Like you guys pull me over, you give me
Yeah.
the ticket, and then afterwards I'm like, I remember everything that we talk, and I'm like
Right.
good for like next like, however like 2-3 weeks. I'm
Yeah.
like really conscious, like okay, I gotta like do this or
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
and then I like veer off, and then we
Yeah.
come together again, and
I
then I'm like,
totally agree.
yeah.
It's always reminding.
Yep.
Like that's why like I said earlier, what I look most forward about coming to meet with you guys is to be able to bring up these feelings
Yeah.
and these thoughts, because it's always positive with you guys,
Right.
and you guys always agree and give me more energy when we talk about positivity and love and
Mhm.
hope and future and building ourselves and making ourselves better.
Yeah.
And we talk about our flaws, and we can analyze it, dissect it, and then bring it to a new perspective where
Yeah.
we, use it as a virtue. And yours is a big one today. Like your example of your story, like we really can, as the three of us we can switch this and try to finagle it, or how do you say it, to become a virtue for us, like a lesson in life,
Right.
for us to rise above,
Right.
like using
Take something
using it
bad,
and turn it
but
into
turn
good.
it into something good. Because
Yeah.
what's the use of it then?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
this is another thing I've read. Like, there's a saying, you'll never profit from holding resentment against another person, or something like that. You'll
Right.
never get
Yeah.
Right.
because any kind of resentment that you have towards another person is never ever gonna help you in any way. You
No.
may tell yourself and think to yourself, oh, if I hate this person, I'm gonna feel better because he did me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate him with all my gut, and it'll make me feel good. But no, it's
Right.
just gonna
Well, and oftentimes resentment is like one of those things. It's such a useless emotion because
Yeah.
but we get so stuck on it.
so stuck on it. But it rarely affects the person it's supposed to be directed
Yeah,
at.
no, it never.
Half the time they don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, I
And
mean,
that's one of the things
I
that I
mean,
get
yeah.
upset about when people are like resentful. Like, what's the do they know that
Yeah,
you have this
do you
feeling?
have this problem? Are they aware of it
Yeah.
that you are upset with them?
Probably
No.
not.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just making you more miserable.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
being aware of this can really help lift you up.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
just to be totally cognizant. That
Right.
word you used earlier is a
Yeah,
great word.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
cognizant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I keep on, and I'm fully going down this path of being a student of the mind. Like, that's the biggest influence for me from as far as a change for me after my transplant.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of time to think about it
Yeah.
for 4.5 years now.
Yeah.
But it's something I've never really consciously studied before. You know, I read The Secret and I
Yep.
read all this stuff, but you don't really attach any feelings or emotions to these principles and ideas. You just read it. Oh, you are what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You are what you think.
Yeah.
You're serious? Like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and go surfing and
Right.
go back to. I'm not gonna think
But
about
now
that.
you're really
But now I think about
discovering it.
No, yeah, really discovering it, analyzing it, breaking it down, rereading it, trying to understand why would so many thousands of people write this over and over again?
Unless it's
Right.
Unless it's something
Right.
that's like
really
throughout thousands of years of history. Why does it keep on showing up?
I think that's your answer to what people are saying to you. What are you doing with your time? You should just tell them you're a student of the mind right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That should be your answer.
I am.
You're going to school.
You know.
You're going to school. Yeah.
But this is a different kind of school that we were brought up on. Like, this is not school that school teaches. This
No.
is not education. This is like a
This is
self.
not
This is what I
Arithmetic.
wish schools did
Yeah,
teach.
this is
a
what
class on
schools-
like mindset, just
Yeah.
personal development,
Yeah,
Right.
positivity.
yeah,
Self-reflection.
Yeah.
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 They knowledge is worthless unless you apply something to
Well,
it. right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
then it also gives you, it's like there's this sort of sense of victimhood, I call it, that, it could be erased with that. There's too many victims all the time. And
Mhm.
it's like, if there's anywhere to learn, it's like there's responsibility, there's self-care, there's mindset, empathy, all sorts of stuff, that could really help people in general, regardless of what they face, whether
Mhm.
it's cancer, whether it's a transplant, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's getting bullied at school, whatever the affliction,
Mhm.
right? This sort of school of the mind, if we call it that, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's such a huge part to healing human nature.
Yeah.
It's not just because we went through what we went through doesn't mean that no one else can experience this type of development or enhancement or
Yeah.
I think
it's
that's really
life.
important. Is like I hope the kids in my life, my nieces, my nephew, my stepson, I hope they can learn this as well.
The value.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a
Absolutely.
and I think this is kind of the reason why we got together, even though we didn't really know we didn't have a clear written plan when we said let's get together and record a podcast. But I think underlying between the three of us, that's really what we want to do, is to share our values and our virtues from what we learned from our experiences and from what we learned from talking with each other, and to be able to give.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what life is. Well, for me, and I know it is for you. Like, and for you, what it comes down to is just to be able to give,
Yeah.
because the more you give is actually the more you get, because you get this sense of reward and this sense of fulfillment and this sense of pride and purpose when you're able to give the way you want to give. You know, and you know,
get not in like in a tangible sense,
Yeah.
but the emotional,
Right.
It's more of the emotional fulfillment, not like
the invisible feeling of
Yeah.
the get. It's
Yeah.
not, like you said, it's not.
We're not doing it
tangible.
to get gifts or anything.
And getting is not your foremost thought when you're giving. You're not like giving. So if I give, I'm gonna get.
Right.
Like, you don't
Right.
have get
Yeah.
as you give because you know that the world, the universe, the laws of the universe is the more you give to people, the more you get back. Just like when we got sick, why were there so many people that supported us?
Right,
Why
absolutely.
was there so much love for us? How come the guy next to me in the other room didn't have one single visitor and one single family
Yeah.
member? Like, this is how I analyze it. Maybe he wasn't able to give as much in his life.
Right.
And then therefore, when needed, he doesn't get as much.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
definitely.
it sucks, but it is like life. You give and you don't get something back right away. You know, it's
Yeah.
like karma. You give, and then when something happens to you, this world is gonna rally and pick you up because
Right.
you've been so giving.
Right.
It's gonna give back to you.
It's gonna come
Right.
back. Yeah.
Right? Everything
Right.
comes back. So
Yeah.
That's my favorite quote. I always put on everything, like on my Instagram. My favorite quote's passion over profit, or passion over profit.
yeah, for sure.
And I say that because whatever you're passionate about, it's gonna come back to you in some kind of profit way. Just because the passion that you show people, they're gonna spread that, and then it's gonna come back to you. Hey, like, I've seen how passionate you are about this, or how, thank you for doing this, or thank you for doing that. So like,
That's
I
true.
always say that quote's always. I forgot who said it, but it's stuck in my head.
It's contagious.
It is. Yeah.
It is contagious.
It's all energy. You know, you put out good energy in this world, and you're gonna, whether you believe in the invisible or not, you're magically throwing some good, positive things in Krissy's mind and in my mind, and we carry that and we pass that positive.
Right.
You know, like, and it works both ways, whether it's negative or positive.
Mhm.
You know, like you have crazy road rage, or you have this girl you, and you might somehow unconsciously spread it to somebody else. Maybe somebody cut you off after while you were thinking about it. You're
Yeah.
like, well, like, no,
Yeah.
it is like energy, invisible energy.
Yeah, no, that's why I brought it up, because
it
it's like
goes.
it's hard to let go of when something bad happens.
Yeah,
It's hard to let go of it
yeah,
because it can spiral.
yeah. But you know,
But-
you have us.
Yeah, no, and
you-
that's where I'm very grateful, and I'm very aware too. Like I have people holding up stop signs in my life. Like it's like you guys, my family, my friends.
This is like church, right?
Yeah.
When we meet together, it should be like going to church.
Yeah.
We we do our confessions, and
I do. I
we-
feel like
we
it's
beg
like
for
I feel
forgiveness and-
a lightness.
yes, I
Ha-
give you a piece of bread.
Yeah. Some wine.
Some
maybe?
wine. Yeah.
I do feel a lightness about it now. It's like because I was just telling someone this story, and you know, it's like you get wrapped up in it and you're like, man, wow, yeah, what a horrible human being. I mean, but again, there is a level though of me that, you know, when these bad things happen, and I think that perspective is from having gone through hard things, like my mom being sick for so long, and then me being sick. That perspective gained, even when really bad things happen, there's still that element of empathy, like, God, it's just, I feel all so bad for that person who is inflicting it on me, because what kind of mindset are they in? You know? So I think it's definitely, you know, you have to process through emotions and stuff when things do happen to you, bad things or whatever, but having support like this and reminders and talk, you know, having the quotes that you guys say, the metaphors you give, you know, all that stuff is so infinitely helpful, because I'll think about it on my drive home, you know, and for the rest of the night, and I'll talk to Mark and I'll tell him all about it, you know, and then it'll continue to grow. That seed will continue to grow,
and that's
you know.
that's what we do. That's what all great leaders and great people who have done great things in this world do. They spread their positive ideas and energies to people, and then they see it acted out, they see it spoken, they see that's their demeanor. They don't get mad, they're always happy, they're always positive, they're always moving, and then that affects all the people around them, and that's how you get a momentum, you know, and you get that good vibe going. Like, you know, some people are always in a good vibe. They're always in a good vibe. They're always laughing, always smiling, always always, you know, they're always, like, you never see them pissed off. Even if somebody, like, spills a glass of wine on them, they'll like,
that's me. Like, that could happen to me.
Yeah.
I could be at the bar.
I was gonna say that's the two of you right there for sure.
Yeah, like, no, but, you know, again, I'm gonna have to go back. Like, I wasn't always like this. For the majority of my life, I was not like this. For the majority of my life, I was just lost and angry. Like, I put up a front like I was a nice guy, but you know, I was very disgruntled inside.
It's funny. I just met with a friend of yours, Eric Walkie.
Walkie.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm starting a podcast with Alex, and I was just talking about you, how like how deep and like spiritual and everything you are, and he was like, man, if you knew him before, like he was nothing. He was like, he was even talking about like high school, how like reserved you were like always in the back, you weren't very talkative.
I was so self-conscious and uncertain and no confidence and just totally lost. Like, I always thought my life was just completely fucked up, and I always had this negative perspective.
So you got like a personality transplant too. Your
transplant. I think about it sometimes. Maybe this kid that donated his stem cells to me, maybe I'm displaying some of his personality traits and characteristics.
That's interesting.
Because I cry a lot. I cry way more than I used to, and I'm thinking maybe this kid is just like a little crybaby,
or you're just a new person. Kids cry. You're only a toddler.
Exactly. That's what my family always says. You're just crying because you're a baby.
You're a baby.
How creepy would it be if, like, when he cries, you cry?
That would be very creepy. That's like voodoo.
He's like at school and like he fell or something. He's crying on the playground, and then all of a sudden you just start crying.
Yeah,
but how creepy would that be?
It could work in my favor, because he might end up doing some really amazing stuff, and I might be there.
Totally.
Right? Who knows?
I love it.
He's like in kindergarten saying all his classmates, "Hey, did you meditate today?"
Right?
During nap time, he's like, "Yes, meditation time."
See, maybe he is the spiritual
like the
spiritual.
Next
maybe he's the next Gandhi or whatever. But who knows? Wherever our imagination wants to take us, there's no right or wrong. Nobody can prove like what is and what isn't. And again, like when you walked in here and our first thing, and you told us your story, I was just thinking, like, wow, what an amazing world and life that we live in. Like we are all alive, fortunately, so that we can experience all these weird, freaky,
Wow.
unexplainable,
That's
happier,
not the reaction I had.
right? No.
I didn't sit there and say, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well,
what an interesting
that-
world this is.
That's a
I was more like, are you kidding me?
yeah.
What
This
is
fucking sucks.
happening? But
Yeah.
that's another story for another time.
Yeah. So I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you guys. So we've been talking about like our lifestyle changes, like spiritually, emotionally. What about like the other side of the lifestyle? Like, how were you guys before? Like, if you like went out a lot, like partying, drinking.
Yeah.
How has that part of your life changed, or has it?
Complete 180.
Yeah.
Yeah. I partied pretty hard. Not in high school. I didn't
Mhm.
go out in high school.
College.
I was a loser. And then college came around and I was like this wild person. And then post college continued to party.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I was just with some of my best girlfriends because it was one of their husbands' birthdays over the weekend, and so there was a party for him, and we went, and you know, normally I would have been annihilated by the end of the night.
Lit.
Oh, lit, as the
L-I-T.
young kids say.
Yes.
I mean, the desire to do that is actually not there anymore. I really don't miss drinking.
Yeah, because people could go like one way. They could be like,
Well, you see things
yeah,
when you're sober. Obviously, you see things. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You are out of control right now, you know? And sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. And I experienced both when I partied, you know. Sometimes I was fun out of control. Sometimes I was not fun out of control,
Yeah.
you know? But, like, I think partly, you know, it's also somewhat getting older. I'm not
yeah,
20.
yeah.
I'm not 25 anymore.
Right.
As much as I wish I was. I'm not 25.
Mhm.
But by no means being 36 would have slowed me down if I hadn't gone through this.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so glad that I did because I don't think I wasn't using alcohol in a way that was like good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it was always in excess,
Mhm.
even on a weekday. You know, it was like, well,
And-
I'm gonna have a cocktail and then I'm gonna have wine.
And a lot of people get by on life, their whole life like that, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't get sick, you might have just continued down that path and functioned completely normally and carried out your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you guys, yeah, because, well, probably same for you, like you did, like, you know, like drinking, a
Yeah.
little bit of smoking, whatever,
Yeah.
before you got sick.
I
And
still
then-
do.
Well, all right, then
But
yeah.
do you drink though?
I every once in a while.
Well, yeah, but not.
Yeah.
Do you go out and get wasted?
No. That's
No.
like rare, far and few in between.
Right.
Every once, like I'll have something to celebrate and
Right.
I'll go out and I have to really think about it.
Yeah.
Like to convince myself, okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna go a little bit overboard
Yeah.
today.
So see, like, so you guys had that time of your life where you've, like, gone out.
Yeah, where we partied, man.
Yeah.
You are.
I
I've
moved,
definitely-
I moved
yeah.
to Hawaii at 17 and I was on my own. Like, I was just
Yeah, it's like
partying.
you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
partying.
So as soon when I graduated high school, as a graduation gift to, like, this basketball team I was on, we went to Hawaii, and I was asking the doctor was telling me, like, don't try not to be in the sun, you know,
Try not to drink.
Perfect.
too much.
Right.
Go
Yeah, and
wine.
he said try not to drink a lot. So this whole time I was like, I thought I couldn't drink, and if she didn't tell me that, I would probably still think I couldn't drink.
Yeah.
And so when she told me that, I was like, wait, I can't drink a lot? Like, and I was like, I can drink? She's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but, you know, not a lot. And she knew I was, like, in high school. So
Yes.
I was like, from there it was like game over.
You know,
It's like-
I think from your story, I think actually the desire to want to drink is actually a positive stimulus to you because it gives you motivation. It gives you something to look forward to, and you're excited about it. And
Yeah.
and you were young, and you can
Yeah.
tolerate it and
Yeah.
deal with it. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely. Like
I don't think that's a bad thing.
at college, I definitely was lucky. I was able to live the college life. You know,
That you wanted.
that I wanted.
Right.
Yeah, you know, we definitely drank a lot. Had my drunk day parties, and then now I kind of still have that kind of party person in me. Like
Yeah.
I still want to like live.
Yeah.
I feel.
Go out.
Yeah, so like
Experience.
music festivals are like I love music
Yeah,
festivals.
I love music festivals too.
And
Yes.
like in my mind, I feel like I can overcome like anything now.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've done things or taken things that maybe I shouldn't but make me feel good at music
Yeah.
festivals. Like I know I'm not supposed to be doing it, but
No,
You know,
that's
like-
you gotta live a little bit.
yeah, and I tell myself that it's like it's not good for you. I know that, but
It's like that 5
Yeah.
minutes of World Star on Instagram. you gotta do it.
so it's like yeah, it's like I still do it, but
Do
yeah,
you
it's-
feel like you're getting to a place where you want to not?
yeah, it
Yeah.
is getting to that point where I'm getting
Do
older.
you?
Yeah.
You, really?
I mean, I still love going out. I love hanging out with my friends, but the drinking part, like, we're not drinking hard anymore. Like, we'll go out, have like cocktails.
Well, it's just the reality of getting older.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
think that's-
recover the way you used to when
no,
you're
definitely
younger.
not. My pregame now is Pedialyte.
Yeah.
It's not you know taking shots before going out. It's drinking a
Hydration.
whole yeah. It is drinking a whole bottle of Pedialyte.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And then coming home and drinking Pedialyte. That's my recovery.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But yeah, because I know people had like, they can go down one road where like I'm gonna live super healthy because they don't want to, you know, ever be sick again, and then there's those other people that you know they want to like just live because they survived and
Yeah.
Right.
you
It's
know
a bit of extreme.
yeah. So I'm kind of like straddling that line where
Uh-huh.
I still try to eat as healthy as I can. I try and work out.
You try and balance it out.
Right. It's
You're
not like I'm
It's not like you're going every weekend to
right.
EDM music concerts
Right.
and rolling
Yeah.
on E. I mean, I would hope not.
Yeah.
You're not doing that every weekend.
Just not
No,
every
no,
weekend.
no. Yeah, yeah,
No, like once in a while that's fine, but every weekend
yeah.
might be hard on your
I'm gonna
organs.
go back to say you gotta live your life.
Yeah.
And you answer to yourself, and you only you know like if you did a whole day of like heroin and how you're
Whoa.
gonna feel. I don't know. Like I don't do.
Well, you'll probably die.
Like
Yeah.
like you ask yourself at the end of the day, like what are you doing, and you know if you can tolerate it, and if it's gonna turn into a negative or
Mhm.
not, or if you're gonna abuse it, or
Yeah.
it's gonna lead you down a, you know. But again, like you when you were 7, you're 18, and the doctor said you could drink, or like now if you go out and you want to always you want to just let loose every
Mhm.
once in a while. I mean,
Yeah.
you work 99% of your time. You're working at the school, and you're working on My Wish Foundation, and you're doing all these positive things.
Mhm.
Like you, again, like one of our beginning episodes, you gotta love yourself first. Like
Mhm.
once you're whole and you're 100%, then you can give of yourself.
Yeah.
And how do you make yourself whole? Everybody becomes whole differently to their own degree. You know what makes you whole.
Mhm.
If you going out and partying hard once or twice a year and that makes you whole for the rest of the year, like I encourage you to do that. You know.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay. Well, please elaborate.
I think that you have when you go through something like this,
Yeah.
like a health crisis, and you survive it, and you're lucky enough to survive it, I think you have a responsibility to your body
Yeah.
to take care of it in the
Mhm.
best way you can, and a responsibility to your family and friends who went through it with you.
Yeah.
So, like,
Big time.
I'm not saying you can't ever party. I totally agree with you, Alex. Like, yeah, if it's once a year and you let loose, great, good for you. But if there are people that are like on the extreme where they're like, I survived it, I'm Superman and I can do anything, I'm invincible.
I could be 21 again.
I'm gonna do days long of heroin, which will not work. You
Yeah.
will die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to me, that's a waste. Like, that's a waste, you know? And you went through so much. People put in so much effort to care for you and heal you. You have a responsibility to give back to that and say
Yeah.
thank you. And I'm going to do as much as in my power
To not put you back in
to
that
not
position.
put myself back
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you know, I drank literally up until the day before I got my first chemo infusion. I had a big margarita or martini the night before. But I mean, I have a bit of a leash on me right now because I'm still on medication, which I think actually helps the
yeah.
fact that, like, if I go out with friends, I literally have to say, I can't.
It disciplines you.
It does, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have the discipline right away. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I was very much in the mentality of like, whatever. I love my cocktails and wine and
Yeah,
whatever.
and that's why I thought I couldn't ever drink because of, the medication that I was
Right.
taking, you know?
So you had like a leash on.
Yeah, and when,
longer than you probably.
yeah, in high school, like, we went
needed.
out to parties, I'm like, no, I can't drink, I'm on medication.
Right.
It was like no big deal, and then, so I
Then it's
blame
reversed.
my doctor.
Yeah.
She didn't have to say anything. I would still not be drinking.
Yeah. But I think you to experience adolescence, to experience young adulthood, part of that is experimentation. Part of that is figuring out your limits
Yeah.
and probably going past those limits a lot,
Yeah.
right? You know, I totally get that. I think if I had this at a younger age, and I think about people who are in like their mid-20s who go through cancer, whatever, transplant, and they feel like they're missing out on life. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't miss out on that. I
Right.
got to live all
Yeah.
of
Right.
that. So I think that there's certainly truth to that, in your lifestyle. But the way I look at it now is like, I was given a second chance, so I'm not gonna fuck it up as much
Yeah.
as I can.
That's, yeah.
As much as I can. Yeah, I now go out because I'm down on medication. I have a 2-drink limit, and certain drinks only. Like I can only really tolerate certain kinds of, like, sparkling wine is kind of the only thing I can tolerate because
Yeah.
it's less alcohol content, and just in terms of how it makes me feel, like I don't get the headache, but I'm very, if I go over that, I pay the price,
Yeah.
and it's only happened a couple times in a year and a half, and I'm like, no way, man, no way, like that was not
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah, no.
and so I get what you're saying is like you gotta be true to you gotta live your life,
Yeah.
but I think in my perspective, I think it's like, well, yes, but being true to you is also being responsible.
No, yeah, that's a good way
know,
to
and-
think about it.
Respecting the fact that you survived something
Yeah.
that, let's be honest, there's plenty of people that don't.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's easy for me to look at it like, you know what, it's fine. I had my party days. I don't need to
Yeah.
Yeah.
get wasted.
I think there's a big difference between me and you and with Brandon, because he was one of those young, teenage cases, and
Yeah.
he did, the perspective is totally different
Yeah.
after the transplant. Like
Yeah.
me and you, I didn't have a desire to go drink, even if my doctor said I could after my transplant.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, that's not part of my what I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like going back to what I was saying about Brandon, like, because he does come from such a different circumstance, having it when he was so young, if his body's up to par right now and he's healthy and he wants to do good in his life, I think he should, with the fact and knowledge that you do have to be responsible.
Yeah.
Like he can, I feel like he.
I think it's one thing to smoke weed I think it's another thing to decide you want to become a crackhead and
Yeah.
take heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big
There's a big difference.
You're responsible or you're not responsible.
You know,
And one
I
is
mean, there's a big
responsible.
difference.
There
you
is a
know,
big
in terms of partying, you know, and I mean, like, I have experimented with numerous things, but like nothing like heroin.
Yeah,
'Cause
no.
anything that can kill you one time you do it,
Is
I think is not a cool thing to try.
No, yeah,
Just 'cause it's
heroin
like,
and any
yikes.
of the illicit
like-
drugs is not good.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, I think
I
lifestyle.
definitely don't condone anybody
Yeah,
after
yeah.
transplant trying any.
no,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't live your life that
Nothing
much.
would condone anyone after transplant
Yeah.
doing anything
We're,
other than what your
we're
doctor
talking
says.
about strictly about alcohol and maybe a little bit of weed.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not going.
Let's be
Yeah.
clear. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what life stage you're at that
Yeah.
determines your lifestyle.
right.
Post,
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right?
That's a good way to put it.
But when it comes down to just the three of us here sitting in this room, I don't worry about any of that happening to either of us, any one of the three of us.
No.
I think we can maybe help establish and help each other understand, like, and to feel better about what we want to do and how far we can take it and what's reasonable, and
Yeah.
just having this open discussion. I mean, you asked the question, like, partying before and after, and there definitely is a big difference, and there's definitely a spiritual thing that happens when presented with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, oh, I'm gonna drink and get wasted anymore. It's a lot of other factors that
Right.
come into play now. Like, it's not just about being old and young. It's not just about getting faded and not. It's a lot of things. I get real deep and philosophical, like,
Yeah, I know you do.
sometimes, but but I think a drink here and there or a smoke here and there. I think I'm gonna stick to my point. Like, I feel like if it makes you a better person and it makes you more productive and it makes you happier and it doesn't mess with the detrimental of your health, then so be it. I think it's great.
Yes.
I think I encourage,
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like people who it's not like I don't like them. I don't think people should just be completely bubble boy after
Right.
you go through something, because that's a little extreme. You don't have to be
Yeah.
that extreme. You know what I mean? You could live a little bit, enjoy a little bit, but
Yeah.
But yeah, it all comes down to just, I don't know, working on your mind and being honest
Yeah.
with yourself and figuring out what it is you want out of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It's-
Like,
there's-
getting wasted is not part of what I want anymore. You
Yeah.
know?
No. It's
It
also
used to be.
not a part of recovery.
If I went through what I went through when I was a teenager and I'm in my 20s or 30s now, maybe that would be something I really want to do. Or maybe I would want to go to Cancun and experience spring break and go to like, I don't know. It's just different times, different.
Yeah. But I think for lifestyle, mental game, spirituality, we're all pretty much on the same page that it's a constant reminder that you have to give yourself. There's a respect element there. There's patience.
Patience
there's,
is a big one.
there's support. There's talking about, like this, like subjects like, what do you think? I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think? And it's all pieces of the puzzle that all come together in terms
Yeah.
of recovery
Yeah.
and everything like that.
You reap what you sow, right? Whatever you put out in this world, like, it's gonna it'll come back to you,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's good or bad. Even if you just go party a little bit, you'll pay for it a little bit.
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
But yeah, it's all very simple. If you really think about it, life is really quite simple. You know, I was just telling, who was I telling the other day? I forget who I was telling the other day. We were talking about, oh, I remember. I have a buddy from 4th grade who's a pastor now, and he's a vice principal at a school, and he's very heavily into Christianity, and he has this alpha program that he has at his house every week, and he wants me. I've gone once, and you know they talk about, you know, church and Jesus Christ and Christianity, and I don't know, man. I don't know what we were talking about, but what it came down to, like, I just told him, dude, like, when I was in the hospital, like, and, you know, 'cause I think we were talking about God and praying for God and whatever, like, I told him, like, all I really want, like, I prayed hard. I think he asked me, like, do I pray or something? Like, I prayed really hard, and all I really wanted was, I said, God, like, please take all my pain that I'm feeling right now away, and let me go home and just spend one normal day, like to not have my mom stuck in the hospital room next to me, to me not have all this chemo and cancer and radiation and all these tubes and stuff. Just let me have one normal day to spend, and I will forever be grateful. Yeah. And I got that, and God answered my prayers. And you know, it comes down to that. Like, if I focus on that every day, there's really nothing for me to be upset or get worked up about or anything. You know, that thought will keep me in that nebulous, that cloud of just happiness. Like, have a halo. It feels like a halo around my friend. You know, my friend was saying, like, you should come to church, and we talked about church, and I told him, dude, and I don't want to sound ignorant or stupid or disrespectful when I say this, but I told him, dude, I'm always in church. Like, my mind is 24 hours church mode. Like, that's what I strive to be. That's what I read, and I remind myself, and that's what I want to be, like a Buddha. Like,
You're
I don't
in the
want.
school of mind.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
I'm always, like, no matter what it is, I just try to always be church.
Yeah.
Right? Always be church. Always be forgiving. Always be loving. Always be, you know, all the virtues that they tell you in church. But everybody has their own degree of morality and time they want to put into this subject matter,
Yeah.
and
It's a process.
yeah, it's a process. And some people don't have the luxury.